We may not take it for granted that it is that way, but we can work at it and make sure that it is the way we want it. First, to make it common to all of us, that is the understanding. But what is to be taken for granted is that there is a future for us. So I think it is always going to be work in progress, that people will keep harmonizing their different views about what we think, what we have to do, looking at the future and what we want to see in that future. So I think there is already the understanding that we have to work for a common future. So we have to work at that and make sure that we get it. So I think it's work in progress. We are moving towards the point, and I am optimistic that the world has a lot of divergences, but at the same time, on everyone's mind and every nation's vision, there is thinking of that common future.
Okay. President Kagame, and when you look at the role of the Commonwealth on delivering on this common future, and I think we've mentioned the importance of leadership, the importance of, so at national level, country level, talk us through the role of the Commonwealth and what we need to do better, what we need to lean into.
Yeah, with the Commonwealth, we already have many things in common, indeed. Be it the language, be it the different systems, financial systems that would enable us to make investments, trade with each other, all together. So there is a starting point that is more or less, I would say, good enough. But we need to make it better. We need to keep making sure that the Commonwealth, when we talk about the Commonwealth, we actually mean the Commonwealth, not just that being common to a few of the many 54 countries. So, and this is why I said it keeps being work in progress. We keep having to engage one another, finding out what we can do to bring that balance to the extent that everyone in the Commonwealth, the family of nations, feels they are part of it. Right. No one is left behind. I think this is what we have to focus on. So that, even those at the low level, that was said earlier, the small developing nations feel they're not left behind. We uplift everyone and move towards that and fulfill that obligation to the commonness that we aspire to in this family of nations. So whether it is trade, it's trade and business, investments, different things. When other issues were talked about, health, we had this pandemic, we had a shortage of vaccines. At times, vaccines were there for fewer countries than the many that were left without for quite a long time. But at a certain point, of course, we were able now to see that flow to the people who were lacking in that. But the pace at which things move needs to be increased, and so that we give more value to the Commonwealth and the feelings of the people of the Commonwealth.
Okay, Mr. President, you have the final word. What is your promise to young people?
Well, before I come to that, let me say, we all feel very optimistic And the grounds on which we base the optimism is that all of us, as we are here on the panel and in the audience, we seem to very well understand what we need to do. We must do it. And so that some of the things we are saying don't remain just as slogans and things like that, we need to. And second, the young people are talking about and have talked about so many times in all sorts of ways, and we know there are millions and millions of them out there. We also need to be thinking of what we do more with them than for them, because they really know what to do as well. All they need are these inputs, which many people mentioned here. It's about access to different things they don't have access to. And at the same time, we also need to get them involved. There are certain decisions that have to be made at different levels, and the more they get involved in these decision-making processes, the better. I think we get the best outcomes. And then I think once they have a voice, once they make a contribution to what happens to them, to what happens to all of us, and we should also be integrating. It's not just about the young people, it's about all of us. So we have to make sure that we look at the society as a complete thing, and then allow the different players to do their part. I think that's what I would say.
Thank you very, very, very much. You know, ladies and gentlemen, 2 days ago at the Commonwealth Youth Forum, a young lady stood up and said, you know, we don't want to talk anymore about, you know, with us, for us. We want to talk about with us all the time. We want to be in the rooms. It's not just about when it's about young people. We want to be in the rooms when it's about every issue. And that kind of transformation in our approach to young people makes them a huge asset for our future, the common future that we're looking to head to. So please, ladies and gentlemen, a huge warm round of applause for our panelists. Thank you very, very much. And you may take your seats. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, it's time goes down.